I'm coming out from the mausoleum of Chairman Mao. I'll turn around in a minute, see the back side of it. On the way in, I suppose that this is probably not worth doing if you have a limited amount of time, like 99.9% of people in the capital on your visit. Most people spend, 3 days to 5 days of a trip to China here. So if that's the case, the line queues up for about half. You have to go around half the building. Usually starts somewhere around here, from in front of the Chairmen gate to the southeast corner. You have to store your bags, so that's the first hurdle. Most of the guidebooks tell you to do it somewhere inconvenient, like over by the China Museum, the National Museum. I stored mine over here, other side of that snack shop by the entrance. I think you probably stored over there too. There's bag storage for 20 yuan is what I was charged. So it looks like the tour groups all meet up here, or at least point it out. When you walk in, there's several vendors selling yellow flowers. I don't know if they're chrysanthemums. They look like it. Long stemmed. And you can lay them in front of Mao's a seated, larger than life-size statue of Mao. As you first enter the hall, there's a painting in back of him of clouds and mountaintops. Very majestic looking. And then there's no stopping really, you're shuffled through. And they have you go into a chamber that has this a glass sealed coffin. And you can look through and get a nice profile view from probably about 15 feet away of the embalmed body of Mao. It's actually slightly macabre. He looks like wax, and I can't imagine the weekly procedure they're probably having to do to him to keep him from withering away. I'd assume that they lower his casket down every day. Probably pump some kinds of gas into that chamber and do other things to the body, the cadaver, to keep it from rotting. It's been now, he died in 76, so 30, 40, going on 50 years ago. 76, 30 to 2006, no, so 40, going on 40 years ago. I did the numismatic museum, which is about money, Chinese coins. Probably not worth going to. You could see the gallery of Chinese coins at the top of the China Arts National Museum. Not the Art Museum, but the National Museum here at Tiananmen Square. The top floor's got an exhibit that's pretty good about Chinese coins to give you an overview by dynasties. And they do sort of the same thing here at the Numismatic Museum. So probably not worth visiting. I like to do everything, so I think I'll walk underneath the street here since that's the way I know to do it. And cross over, and then I'll go into the People's Hall, which is that building there. It's open from 8 to 12 in the afternoon, so if you want to come here and not deal with the morning crowd and you just want to walk around the square, which is what I recommend you do. I mean, it's not worth spending all that time and energy to get up early and see someone's embalmed body from 15 feet away as you're ushered through. Unless you have a plethora of time, there's more interesting things to do. One of which is the Chairmen gate there. I did that yesterday. That's worth going into and taking a look for a restored gate. There's a couple others in town you can go to. Right now, that and the southeast corner tower are the only ones that are open. They're only renovated towers that are open. The bell and drum tower and the was it the Dongmen Tower, is got renovations going on. Here's another hidden secret. You can go through security through this tunnel and avoid a big long line because there's no metro stop on this side. But to get in here, you'd have to go out the exit from either Tiananmen West up ahead here and store your bag and go in first to see the People's Hall, the Hall of the People, where the Communist Committee meets, I guess. And hope it's open today. You could probably store your bag there and then come down here and loop around the square and go back and make a circle. I think that'd be the smartest thing to do out of the Tiananmen West stop. And that way you would you'd avoid the craziness of the southeast corner there. I think it's a little less crowded on this side of the square, the west side. Or you could go out the Chairmen subway of line 2, be line 1 for the Tiananmen West stop. Or you could go to Chairmen and exit, I guess it would probably be out of exit D, then cross underneath the street and then go in through security that way, and then once you're in the square, get in line for the mausoleum. But you'd still have to store your bag, so you'd probably want to go up here first, see this. Then looks like they're actually letting people cross the street up there. That's interesting. Usually the traffic's pretty bad. I've never seen groups cross, but I just saw a group cross the street up ahead and get lit in. But it's a headache. There's a lot of security to jump through. Crowd management. Half of it's just simple crowd management, half of it is actually like, you know, post global war and terror security, you know, heightened security. So you used to be able to ride a bike through Tiananmen Square, but I don't think you've been able to do that since the 80s or early 90s. Maybe even they stopped it after the Tiananmen Square. I know there was near riots after Zhou Enlai's death in like 70 something. They had like 1 million people come into the square to pay their respects and cause a near riot, I think, just because of the sheer number of the crowd. I was gonna go to the Great Wall today. They were doing a 10-kilometer hike through my hostel and I signed up for it, but I held off paying. So I wanted to see what the morning was gonna look like, and then I saw this morning the weather. It said 40% chance at morning showers. And I thought, you know, do I really want to go hiking in this smog? It's gonna be terrible for my health. I'm sure the air is a little clearer out by the Great Wall, but my view's gonna suck, and it's gonna be bad for my health because it's so smoggy. So I should probably just take my face mask and go into town. Maybe if it's raining, it'll be less crowded. So now I want to go into the People's Hall. Let's figure this out. I think I enter over here. There's a ticket booth anyway, right here at the southeast corner.